over to a life-changing man. Not only is he a professor here at Cleveland State University, he's a city planner. He's a man with vast experience in many areas of development. He knows not only cities, but he knows rock as well. He's a rock, but not to roll, as the cliche would go. Professor Abe Bruckman is our guest, part 2. How you doing, sir?
I'm fine, and I can tell I'm already in trouble.
Oh, no. You're not in trouble, sir. A man that knows as many things as you know about so many different areas of life is a natural attraction to a person like me, because you can enlighten us in a lot of different areas, not only in developments of cities, but what were the cities before they were cities?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So,
I think that kind of falls under the category of mystify and amaze, perhaps.
Very much so.
Although that is part of the educational process, isn't it?
We learned about the Ohio Canal, 309 miles.
Wasn't that exciting, actually?
Yes, and for those people that don't know what we're talking about, we had class this past Friday, and we talked about the Ohio Canal, which it took 3 years now for them to dig that out, to go from Cleveland all the way down to the Ohio River.
That's right, that's right. And my takeaway point that I think everyone, especially if you're out there on your commute, you should know, the speed limit on the Ohio and Erie Canal was 4 miles an hour.
And they would actually catch people speeding.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Can you imagine being a traffic cop on a beat like that?
No.
I can't even imagine. So.
Yeah, I don't recall how they actually caught people speeding. I know that there was a way that they did that.
If you created a wake.
That's what it is.
Oh well, that's another test question I can't use. Oh well.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. You know, it isn't the grade that I get from the class. It's the experience that I take with me for the rest of my life. The grade will always, it'll mark that I went to the class and I did okay. But the memories that I have from the class will live with me for the remainder of my days. And that's the true gift of the class.
I'm still not getting emotional, but thank you, Ray. I sincerely appreciate that. So.
Well, it's true. I know it sounds like I'm laying it on a little thick here this morning, which I don't usually do with people, but
Well, thank you.
But I like to call things what they are. And, it's interesting because I like city planning. And, as a kid growing up here in Cleveland, you look around the city and you say to yourself, how in the world did Cleveland become Cleveland? And it was part of the old Connecticut Western Reserve, and Moses Cleveland landed here in Settlers Landing. He was only here, what, a couple of months?
3 months.
3 months, and he's an attorney, goes back to Connecticut, and we named Cleveland after him, and sort of the rest is history, but there's far more to it than that.
Oh yeah. And I think part of what this particular class is, part of what makes it so fun is trying to incorporate all that into a very short semester. I mean, after all, didn't we cover about 500 million years in that class?
At least 500 million years.
Not to mention the history of Cleveland, which is actually what we're doing right now.
Which is only a couple of 100 years old. I mean, I think Cleveland was incorporated as a city in 1796.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. And obviously we're years ago, millions of years ago, this was all under a glacier.
That's right.
And you were talking, I believe, about Valley View and the bridge.
What surprised, actually I didn't know this until we went on the field trip, but the distance for that one railroad bridge that we were looking at is 1,000 feet, which was the width of the valley, which was the width of the river, a river at one point in time.
So there was a river that was 1,000 feet across.
Now and then, I'm sure it was. That's kind of an amazing fact when you look at the Cuyahoga today and you look at it and you think, well, that little river was responsible for carving out that valley.
What is the most amazing fact or facts that you've learned over the years about Cleveland that you are just still to this day amazed about?
How quickly it grew, basically.
And it grew from a city with mostly all trees to a metropolis seemingly overnight because of the water.
Because of the water and the combination of natural resources and transportation that it provided. Dare I say it, it was the hub of industry. A hub of industry. It was an amazing place for a very long time. It still is an amazing place, but I think it'd be very interesting to have a chance to look at Cleveland and just be there during the 1920s, perhaps.
Well, I mean, Cleveland, the stigma that people have of Cleveland from the 70s on is a very dark one.
Mm-hmm.
But in the 20s, Cleveland was regarded as one of the finest cities in America. And it kind of went down, I guess, around the mid-1960s. And then, you know, and then now we're trying to build things back up again. And I see a renaissance happening in Cleveland. I see it happening right here at the university. And I see a lot of people getting excited about things, the casino, the medical mart, and all the development going on. What's your take on that? Do you see that, the same vision I see?
Probably. I mean, it's positive. It's all positive. I mean, we talked a little bit about that last week, and arguably some people have been talking about how, in some ways, there may be some adverse impacts due to the sort of business that a casino happens to be, but the bottom line is that it will bring hundreds of thousands of people here. That, in tandem with the convention center, in tandem with the other projects that are now underway, including these very interesting transportation projects, they're going to have a catalytic effect. They already are, really. They already are.
Now, are you surprised that things like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame haven't brought in more business to Cleveland? Or did you think that was going to be kind of what was going to happen?
Well, there's no single solution. I mean, there's no single solution that's going to revitalize a city. Usually it's a combination of things. We just needed to continue to add ingredients to the mix.
Where do you see the city government going now? Do you see a forward-thinking, more so of a forward-thinking methodology going, from here on, or do you see it kind of the same old, same old?
Well, I actually don't think it's same old at all right now. I think Mayor Jackson and his administration has showed a lot of foresight and vision in terms of the direction they've been taking the city. And, there's always a little bit of discussion behind the scenes between, let's say, the mayor and the city council, but I think they're getting along and they're doing a lot of very positive things. The city's moving forward.
Now, do you think any of the other suburbs are going to become like maybe a mini hub of Cleveland, like Mentor? It seems like the city of Mentor has really become almost a major city of itself.
Well, what's interesting about Mentor is that, it's got a population of about 50,000, and it's got a daytime work population of 32,000. People commute into Mentor.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So, in a way, it already acts like a hub. So.
And that has grown enormously. I mean, from the days of James A. Garfield, our former president, who was from that area.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And it was basically a cow town. I mean, essentially. And now it's a thriving metropolis, and it just keeps on growing. And, you say Mentor, you think of a very well-established area, a city that has just about everything you can think of.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And actually, Garfield had a profound influence on the evolution of the city of Mentor. Although he was there, as you know, since we were all there at his home, he was only president for a very short time. So, and I'm sure everybody out there knows that this is the anniversary of the Kennedy assassination,
yes.
But people probably aren't aware that this is the 150th anniversary of the year that Garfield was assassinated. So,
yeah, it's a little-known fact. We rarely ever talk about that.
Well, it's because a lot of time has passed, but in many ways, his death was no less profound than the assassination of Kennedy was to people of, dare I say, our time?
Yeah,
more or less.
Time is... We can relate to the Kennedy assassination because of the fact it was on television.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The media was involved. Back when James A. Garfield, was assassinated, it was totally different. There wasn't the media. It was word of mouth. It was newspapers.
Newspapers, telegraph.
Yeah, it was nothing like it is today,
mm-hmm.
and the word doesn't travel anywhere near as quickly. But still, an Ohio president, it was a tragic thing, but sometimes the legacy that some of these great people leave behind will, live much longer than what they actually lived.
Indeed, and actually there's been a little bit of new interest in Garfield, in part because of the amount of time that's passed, and it's worth taking some time to go out there and look at the Lawnfield site, which is operated now by the National Park Service.
It is quite a place, I must say, and in all honesty, it's very interesting. If you are interested in that type of thing, I would highly recommend, in my opinion, I have to say this, you can check that out in Mentor. It's really a wonderful day that you could spend there and learn quite a bit about our former president.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget Mentor Headlands Beach if you go with the right time.
Mentor Headlands Beach, indeed. Now, we also talked a little bit about, well, you're drinking special water there, huh? Speaking of water.
It's Cleveland water. That's what makes it special.
It is Cleveland water, which I guess they say Cleveland water is some of the best water you could possibly drink.
Well, I like it. So,
it creates it gets rid of halitosis, cavities. It has a kind of a medicinal effect on just all of your being.
I better have some more.
Creates homeostasis. Everything. Not at all. But if you order right now, you can have a set again soon. But if you're the second caller, we'll throw in a second set for free. No, I'm just joking. Those old commercials used to make me laugh.
But you have to say you can order now.
I know.
Did you believe in peanut butter? I mean, I did. You know,
I love
when that
peanut
commercial
butter.
came out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I never liked peanut butter until I got older, but yeah, I did believe in it.
I mean, I looked around for Peter Pan, but that's another story.
Yeah, he was down by the Gold Coast.
You
when I
can?
did that, and that's another story. The question. You got that?
I got that. That was very good.
Yeah. Thank you. Don't forget to tip your waitress on the way up. All right. Seriously, though, we were talking about the many different living creatures in Lake Erie, and there's many, many of them. But how many? Doesn't Lake Erie have the most, the widest amount of fish of any of the 5 Great Lakes?
Well, it's the most biologically diverse because it's the shallowest. It's the warmest.
It's the warmest, the shallowest, which is why we have the unpredictable weather that we do.
Exactly.
So even more so than Lake Ontario.
Well, if you have a shallow lake and you have a lot of prevailing winds going in one direction, the same orientation as the lake, you get lots of waves.
Now, for a lot of people listening, going, okay, what does that mean to me for this year? What kind of weather do you predict that we're going to have? I know it's impossible to really predict and prognosticate that, but do you have a gut feeling? Do you think this is going to be a fun winter?
Oh, God.
I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say something that's not true.
I think that's a question I should pass on. So.
Okay. I am going to pass.
Not much fun about
All right, Alex, I'll take that for 200, please.
Do you like to
The
ski?
future for 30.
The
So.
future for 30. I'm going to make a bold prediction right here. It's going to snow, but it's not going to be as bad as it has been.
Oh, you should only be right.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you very much. And she's wearing my hat, Ed. Do you believe that?
Wearing
the
a
Beatles
hat.
hat is gone.
He told me to wear it.
Professor, a lot of people have been asking me off the microphone at the open house that we had here this past weekend, are you going to write a book? They want to know about city planning and all the things that we touch on here in the previous interview. Will there be any kind of literature that they can read about you, about what you know? How would they go about doing that?
You know, I've actually thought about writing a book, but I don't exactly know if it would be about city planning. So.
It could be a little bit about everything.
I think that's been done, but I'm going to give it a shot.
Well, from the mind of Abe, I mean, you can just have yourself, with your hands crossed, your arms crossed, and you're just randomly thinking of thoughts that are interesting.
It might be a novella, or it might be a collection of short stories, actually.
Yeah, there you go.
More
You
than
never
likely.
know. You never know.
That'd
See,
be
I mean,
cool.
this could be the genesis of something very large. So you get down there, and start, crunching things out. You never know what's going to come out of that. I mean, Shakespeare had to say the same thing. Taming of the Shrew. I don't think it'll catch on. But you never know, right?
I can make a song out of that. That's
I can
right.
make a song out of that.
Bard, over here, please.
Just like Romeo
Minstrel.
and Juliet.
There you go.
Yeah, just like the song. But of course,
Good title.
Yeah, it is a good title.
I think I'm going to start with T-shirts, but I'll work my way up.
T-shirts are a
And
good
bumper
thing.
stickers.
Everybody loves T-shirts, let me tell you.
I'm good for those.
Now, you gave me a CD here. This
Yes,
is
I did.
very
Yes, I did.
nice. It's Sacred Blue? Sacred Blue.
Sacre bleu?
Sacred Blue.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what part of Paris you're from.
Very definitely.
I mean, they have different accents,
Different colors, too.
different colors. This actually has a picture of an Eiffel Tower on it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to play track number 7 and
Or 11.
11. And I can't even pronounce it. So I'll let you pronounce it, and then we'll play it.
Oh no, I can't pronounce it either. I just happen to like the way it sounds. So.
Well, we can't pronounce
What's
the
it
song.
say?
but
Is it
definitely,
French?
It is definitely French, yes.
Very, very stylish.
Well, it's so rhythmic and romantic that it's we're just going to play it right here.
Stylish filet.
All right, here, let's take a listen.
Which is not.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.